Westchester cycling group, and he and I have been riding together for about 2 or 3 years. I knew he was Asian. I didn't know he was from Vietnam. He told me on one ride I do some letters to the editor occasionally, and he had seen something I had written up on Vietnam, and he mentioned that he was from Vietnam. It turned out that he was a boat person, and I've got some notes over here. I mean, in my shame, when he told me about this, he had to flee Vietnam after we had to leave, after we pretty much capitulated our position there. And he left with his mother, his father, and his younger sister. His mother and father died on the boats, so he and his sister were orphans. No country would take them, so they sailed around for a while until finally the U.S. did open their doors. He's now a very successful businessman, but I was personally embarrassed because his father had to flee the country because his father, his mother supported the American troops. When the communists took over, they were killing people that supported the American troops. So, to some degree, I felt somewhat responsible. This is the site we all longed for while we were over there. That's San Francisco, naturally. The Marin Headlands overlooking San Francisco. Actually, I used to have to work here quite a bit. I had a business out there, and I would bring my bike, and this was actually a bike ride up the Marin Headlands looking down over San Francisco. Final thoughts. One of the things you think about is being pushed to the limit every day. You don't realize how much you can actually do. The things that we had to do and all of these guys had to do, and women in combat, you can't imagine. Never more alive. I remember hearing one time a race car driver, somebody asked him why he does it. And he said, because I never feel more alive than when I'm risking my life. I would probably never have volunteered for Vietnam. I was drafted. But the one thing you notice is that every second, every minute was precious. Time went very slow, counted every second, every minute. It was a 1-year tour of duty. But the one thing I remember when I got home is how quickly time passed. And when I was there, how much you savored each moment. I mean, just having a cold beer and being able to lean up against a tree and have a quiet moment, where you weren't being shot at, that was a precious moment that would be like a 2 or 3 week vacation. And the wall, I went to the Vietnam Wall. I'm not that emotional. I didn't think I would get that emotional. It upset me because I saw the 2 names of the two fellows that I saw die over there. Segura was the first one. I've seen a lot of, these were the 2 memorable ones. Segura was in my unit. This is a fellow that I patrolled with for about 6 or 7 months. He died about his 8th month in country. And when I saw his name on the wall, and I looked at all of the names on the wall, it just struck me that all these people coming here and looking at these names, I know what happened. I'm one of the few people that know what happened to Segura. I was there when he died, and that just hit me. Diefenbach, I was in school with him. I was upset. I was jealous when I got wounded. I met him in the hospital. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "It's great. I'm in Saigon. I've got a girlfriend. I've got a kid that comes in and polishes my boots. I'm not in combat. I'm relatively safe." And I was feeling very jealous. He's from Newark, Delaware. Invited me to come visit him in Newark, Delaware when we got out of Vietnam. A week after I left the hospital in Stars and Stripes, I saw his name in the paper. He had been killed. And I just found out about 3 months ago that he was killed in a helicopter. Our transportation there was pretty much helicopter. When we left the hospital, you had to find your way back to your unit by hitching a ride on a helicopter, and he died in a helicopter crash, shot down. And that's it.
I was born and raised in Sprint City. I went over in 1965, and I didn't flyover. I went over on a World War II troop ship, U.S. L team. And when we landed, we actually went over. When I was a kid, I always thought the movies were neat. I went over the side of the boat. So it's not that neat. When you go over, the ship rocks. That ropes rock. And when we landed, but I was the lucky one. I didn't go out in the field. I was the mechanic, the aircraft mechanic. We did helicopters and fixed wing. The worst thing we did is, a lot of people don't know it, we never left any aircraft out there. Our group would go get them. And when you go get them, you can't carry a rifle and work on something. So you just leave them sit in the helicopter. As Tony said, everywhere you go in a helicopter. That's how we got there. That's later on, that's the barracks. There's the tents. We went over, we stayed in tents. As we were there, we back it up one, they started building the hooches. They're built, but as they were being built, they take the tents down. That was the next one, that's the tents. That's what we lived in, more or less, until it went through. And not to take a lot of time, can you go to play to area? No, we're back to the beginning. There's another play through air base. I think it's I don't know. Yeah. And then keep going. Oh, back up one. Right there. Gentlemen from World War II, you know what that is. That's a C-47. I had people from World War II veterans say they weren't in Vietnam. There they were. They were there for one thing. They called Puff the Magic Dragon. They put Gatling guns in. John, you've seen them work. It'll just level trees, anything in its way. When it just flies in, it just level the ground. Go ahead. That's I'm going to say, what did World War II? Is that an A1? That's an A1. They took them out of the deserts in Arizona, and they weren't American pilots, they were Vietnamese. They told the Vietnamese how to fly them. They must not have told them to land because they could take off, but boy, an awful lot of them crashed on the landing. I don't know what happened there. Okay. And basically, that's what I did. I didn't have to go out in the field or anything. I've time we have to deal with